Hey everyone, Gadget here with another drawing for you. Sorry it's been a little while, I've been sick as you can hear from my voice, but this time I'm taking you through a few sessions. I had 4 sessions on this one where I decided for the first time I'd draw a dragon because, you know, I'm a D&D, Gadget the DM on Twitter, and I haven't drawn a dragon yet. It seemed like a weird thing. So this is completely without reference. This is just me kind of doing it from my imagination, just trying to think of what a dragon might look like for my D&D campaign, or kind of just trying to just basically put a dragon together. So outward sketch, it's come out a bit more like a wyvern or wyvern, just simply because it's got kind of this long, kind of flexible neck, which I think those kind of dragons have. But I kind of want... my intention for this one was to have kind of the dragon looming over, kind of smoke coming up in front of it, and it's kind of looming over this wall as if it's kind of attacking the castle. So that was the first session, just kind of getting the outline structure of it done. And as you can see, it's an incomplete outline as well, because I'm intending on having a big chunk of this dragon's body actually hidden. We're putting down a kind of base colour of a kind of a dark burgundy red, and for some reason completely unknown to me, there is a mistake on his neck that I never fix, and I only just noticed it when I started doing the editing process. That was my first attempt just to kind of block out some smoke, but I don't think it got there. I used a painterly brush to lay down a base colour on his wings, get the colour of the kind of the ribbing of the wings in there. Then a kind of an orangey colour for the kind of soft underbelly part of the dragon, it would seem. And then we kind of moved up to do some kind of outline detail, trying not to do like hard outlines. I kind of wanted to basically place like where shadows would be, and that'll become more evident when we get into the kind of the higher detail shading later on. Some kind of darkness for his nostrils, and then I'm using a painterly brush now just to put in the highlights and try to start to blend everything together and try to, you know, come up with a shape and a structure for him, and try to make everything a little bit more 3D than you would. So yeah, highlights and lowlights, just kind of etching out the shapes, etching out the curves. At one point I do try to put the scales on him and realize that's going to take forever. And I think, maybe we don't need scales. Maybe it can be a bit more leathery. Oh yeah, my Photoshop died in the middle of everything as well, which is nice of it. It just completely locked up and died. Love this program sometimes. But yeah, kind of pushing in, get a big old dragony eye in place. You know, he's looking upon you. He sees you as a meal. He's going to eat you, or at least that's what I envisage the dragon wants to do. Imagining that the viewer is the person in the castle who's about to be eaten. Standard pink tongue, a bit of a darker one down the middle, just as a kind of a rib in the middle of it. Filling in the mouth. I do put a lot of time into his teeth when I get round to his teeth. You'll see that. It takes me some time because, you know, dragons are toothy creatures. They have a lot of teeth. In fact, actually, I think this is where we start with it. Yeah, so just getting the basic outlines in, and then I go through and fill them up. I was just trying to get the shapes. I wasn't too worried about them, like, serrating properly together. But yeah, we get the basic shapes in, fill them up, and then we go and get, like, some different colours and kind of blend through to give them some darkness and some corrosion and just make them look like gnarly teeth. That's what we want out of those gnarly teeth, horrible teeth. Teeth that you would be afraid of. And I think I achieve it. Everything looks a little bit darker, everything looks a little bit nastier. You still see the pencil lines there, don't worry, they'll go there. Pencil always stays the top layer, so I can work against it. Lighter colours on the wings to give them some depth and a bit more red, because obviously he's a red dragon, so he doesn't need to have black wings. He could have black wings, but I decided not to. And then some kind of ribbing for the internals of the wings. And then we move into the third session, where we're going to start filling in the fingers, and doing the same kind of technique that we did with the teeth on the nails, trying to, you know, give them some shape and some depth. You know, the kind of a bony base colour, and then some kind of shots of a slightly darker colour just to kind of blend in and just give it some texture and some curve to it. Seems to work best in my eyes. This, as I'm watching it back, I realised this was a really messy painting. I don't know what I was doing here. I think I was distracted. Actually, to be fair, I know what I was doing. I was watching Succession at the same time as doing this, so Yeah, I think I was probably a little bit distracted. Then we move on to the kind of the castle brickwork. Using the same techniques I used in the Hollow Knight video that I did. Just, you know, outlining them in a dark colour, giving it all the shape and that, and then using the painterly brush to kind of just drag the colour across and give it some kind of an almost weathered effect. I don't know if it comes off as good as the one in the Hollow Knight video, but I like it still. It's a technique I'm going to keep using. Then we get into doing the shadows on the segments of the soft underbelly. Again, not getting that bit of mistaken red, because I'm an idiot, and I'm clearly just not paying attention to that. Oh shit, he was supposed to have a horn there as well. I never put a horn on the front of his nose. God, I am bad at art. Yeah, you see, this is the point where I tried to do the scales and gave up on it, so then I started doing these kind of serrated fins that you see kind of across a lot of dragon art. And just filling them in with the same base colours as the dragon himself. That same kind of base red that is the core colour, and then using just kind of lighter colours and darker colours to highlight and low light. It's shockingly simple when you think about it. But I think this is really effective as well. It gives some shape and structure to his head. Beautiful. He's looking quite good at the minute. I'm quite happy with how his head looks. I think I was focused most of the time on his head. We're on to the last session now. I'm just going to do in the background. I'm going to put a little bit of a mountain in there in the background with a bit of kind of dark green. Dark green or brown? I'm colourblind as well, so, you know, art is a good thing for me, clearly. But I'm using the a mountain technique that I've used on a couple of drawings so far, just basically creating the shapes that are lighter colours and just stacking them up on top of each other. And then some lights. We're going to have this set at night, so this is going to be a moonlit scene. So kind of once we get that up there, we want to get some clouds in. And this is the first time I've drawn clouds, and I was actually quite happy with how they turned out. I kind of remember seeing a documentary on how, I think it was on like the art for Toy Story, and I remember that's how the clouds were drawn in Toy Story. Or at least on Andy's wallpaper. It's me kind of futzing around trying to get a glow on the moon. I need to work out a better way to do glowing things. But yeah, the moon there with the kind of the backlit clouds. And then I blur the background, so it's out of focus. So you're focused on the dragon that's just hanging in the background. And then the big one here is trying to get the smoke right. Now this took some experimentation because I hadn't done kind of flaming, belching smoke. But yeah, I think I worked it out. So there's it's kind of a black grey, then there's some kind of yellow and some red in there, and burns up. It covers actually a lot of the mistakes that I made in his body, apart from that one on his neck that's pissing me off. But then there we go, the final piece. I'm really happy with this one, apart from that one mistake that's pissing me off. But yeah, it's interesting take on dragon. I'm going to draw more dragons. Of course I'm going to draw more dragons. Dragons are awesome. But yeah, for a first attempt, and also, I know I keep saying it, I didn't use a reference, so I really should use more references to get, like, you know, see how other artists draw them. But yeah, from just kind of off the top of my head and just seeing where the pen took us, I was quite happy with this one. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, do all the usual YouTubey things like subscribe, all that kind of thing. You can leave in the comments if you want me to draw something in particular. I've got one queued up that someone asked for, which I'm going to attempt in the next few weeks. But hopefully in the next week or so I'll be back with another one of these videos, and I will see you on the next one. Ta-ta for now.